Hello, everybody. This is Joe Hoffman, aka Cowtown Joe, and today I would like to continue telling you all the origin story for Salvation in the Blues, a story of secular salvation. After being inspired by the Irish rock band U2 to write the song Salvation in the Blues, and putting the song into the book that I was publishing, I thought that was the end of the line for my take on doomsday scenarios for bad breakups. Or that was until I got inspired to write another song. What inspired me to write that particular song was the fact that I'm not any good at meeting women and one-off encounters whenever I run into them by chance. And many is the time that I have undoubtedly ruined the opportunity to have coffee or perhaps even dinner with a nice lady because of this ineptitude. One day I was feeling especially blue because within the course of that week, I had been through several chance encounters with women and had nothing to show for it except for a lot of aggravation and a lot of missed opportunities. So I decided to write a song about it. I began my songwriting efforts by compiling a list of missed opportunities that I had just gone through with the woman at the cafe, the woman at work, the woman at the grocery store, the woman at the park, the woman at the restaurant, the woman at the bookstore, the woman at the movies. You get the idea. It was a pretty long list I was putting together. After I finished jotting down all the missed opportunities I could think of, I looked down at my long list and said to myself, at least regrets are good for songs. After I said that, I felt like I had stumbled upon the title for another song, and so I began writing Regrets Are Good for Songs, a tune where an older African American gentleman gave some advice on love and romance to a young white man whom he had just met when the young man sat down next to him on a bus bound for Memphis. While I was composing the song Regrets Are Good for Songs, I noticed that it had the same narrative voice as the song Salvation in the Blues, which I had previously written. And from that similarity, I could feel that there was a large overarching story which tied those two tunes together. So I decided to write the greater narrative that bound those two songs together because I felt that it would be a good story and I wanted to share it with the world. But before I could write the overarching story, I first had to put myself through writing school because I had never written anything of that magnitude before. So I went out and bought lots of books about how to write dramatically. I also purchased some books on how to produce musicals. Then I bought a lot of plays and screenplays for movies and TV shows so that I could see how these items were being written by the pros. I also read a ton of Marvel comics because comic books are really screenplays in disguise, with all their great visual images, amazing dialogue, and a killer narrative voice that ties it all together. I additionally bought some books about the history of the blues so I could learn as much as possible about this wonderful genre of music that would be the backdrop for my sweet story. Besides hitting the books, I also did a great deal of film study by watching a lot of musicals and movies about music, as well as a ton of romantic holiday movies. As you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of Hallmark movies. I'm a hopeful romantic, and I think that Hallmark makes some of the best movies because they always have great actors in them and a lot of great writing in their films as well. I also watched a bunch of other movies and TV shows that have great writing and awesome characters in them. On top of all that, I rewatched all of the movies from the Star Wars Skywalker saga and watched all the amazing Star Wars TV shows that have been put out on Disney Plus. As you may have noticed, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I'm proud to say that I'm an OG Star Wars fan who got to see every one of the movies in this outstanding sci-fi franchise in the theater when they were first released, beginning with Star Wars A New Hope, which I saw in the theater as a 5-year-old when it was originally released back in 1977. I additionally rewatched all the incredible movies from the Marvel Avengers saga, saw all of the amazing Marvel TV shows that have been put out on Disney Plus, and watched a ton of the Marvel movies that have come out since Avengers Endgame. I also listened to a ton of Marvel dramatic podcasts and to a lot of their amazing informational podcasts. As you can probably tell, I'm a huge, huge fan of Marvel. In fact, I've been one of Stan Lee's true believers ever since I was a kid and had a subscription to the Uncanny X-Men comic books. Additionally, I listen to a ton of blues music, most especially on B.B. King's Bluesville on Sirius XM radio, where the on-air personalities, Shamika Copeland, Early Times, Big Lou Johnson, and Joe Bonamassa, are all incredible blues musicians as well as terrific hosts who always make me feel like I'm a part of the Bluesville family whenever I stop by, which is quite often. Thank you for watching this video on the origin story for Salvation in the Blues, a story of secular salvation. I hope that you will check out the third and final installment of this series and see what happened when I finished my pre-writing and was able to begin writing the greater narrative, and where I talk about my vision for bringing this sweet story to life. Until then and beyond, I remain your faithful narrator, Joe Hoffman, aka Cowtown Joe. Take care of each other and always try to keep a song in your heart and some kind words on your lips.